Hey there, it's Rebecca R. Jones, and I'm here to talk to you about colored pencil, what it is, how it's different from some of the products you might mistake it from, and how to use it in your Bible with no page prep. Here's a couple of examples, and so let's just dive right in. So I wanted to show you that you can do very elaborate creativity in your Bible, and you can do very simple in your Bible. But when you're using colored pencils, you need to know a couple of things to have success. This is actually right on the surface of the paper, and this is on page prep. If you go to pageprep.com, you can learn about how to page prep. It's a technique that I invented a while back, and it has really helped a lot of Bible art journalists to not have any struggle with what's going on with their pages. But with colored pencil, I often get asked whether or not page prep is required, and really this is not a damp medium, so no, you don't need it. But what happens is this, because it's been page prepped, it has tooth, it has something to grab the color and hold on to, and you can find that colored pencil actually beds into the surface of your paper and stays put a lot easier on page prep. But I'm going to talk to you about just putting it straight on the surface of your paper and what you might want to know about it. So now that we understand where we're at with this, let's get these bits of creativity in the Word out of the way, and let's talk about colored pencil. What is colored pencil? You might think, well, we all learned that in kindergarten, but I think there is some mistakes to be made here, so let's talk about it. So colored pencil in its basic form is in a couple of different ways that it's been made. So in your colored pencil, you might find that it's made from a wax base, like these ones that I'm holding here, and the wax is not going to melt with the application of water. So what I'm going to do is just get a piece of paper here, and I'll grab a color here. It's a little bit darker. And this is a Prismacolor Premier colored pencil. I'm just going to put some color down on there. And this is an apple green color. This is a waxed base colored pencil. Now I'm going to grab from this the Prismacolor Premier water soluble colored pencils. These are completely different product, actually. This looks different in the casing here, and I'm just going to grab this. It says grass green, and I'm going to put some of this down here. It goes on creamier. It's very different feel, and I'll show you what the difference is here. If I grab some water and I attempt to go over this, nothing is happening. It's staying exactly as it is because it's not water soluble. This is wax based, so it repels the water. This, on the other hand, this is a watercolor pencil, and as a result, it's water soluble. It's going to move around, and that is the big difference in what this product here is. I think it's a little bit confusing when some of these companies actually call their products the same similar name, like Prismacolor Premier watercolor, and this is just the Prismacolor Premier. That can be a little bit confusing, so keep track of what your packaging says. I've made the mistake plenty of times myself, just trying to get to grips with products. But we're going to set aside the watercolor pencils because we're calling colored pencils just your wax-based ones. Now, I must mention that there's also a oil-based colored pencil. And in the colored pencil world of art, which is absolutely stunning, you will often find that people either use a wax-based or an oil-based. I don't have any oil-based with me today to show you, but the difference is that one is wax and one is oil in that kind of base foundation of the color that is in the pencil. And you want to avoid anything that says that it's got an oil base with everything in it. Get away from it if you are doing it in your Bible, because oil products do not stand the test of time inside of our Bibles in the way that other products would. So I would recommend that you stick to wax-based products. And then when you are looking for a product that you can trust in terms of how color safe is it going to be? Is it going to be light fast and stay around for a long time? Is it going to be an enjoyable experience to use? So why couldn't I just use a basic cheap brand and save myself a whole lot of money? Well, as I say, you get what you pay for. So this right here is a pink. It says magenta. This magenta from Crayola, I'm just going to show you this. It is nice enough. Here's magenta from Prismacolor, and it's slightly different, but it's similar. The difference here is that this is a softer core than this, and it has less filler in it. You can even see when you're looking at it that there is a kind of chalky white filler in these really cheap ones because they don't have the budget to be able to add the amount of pigment into their pencils and the quality materials because they're trying to sell you something cheap, so you get cheap. If you are to buy something like Prismacolor, you're going to find that it's really good quality and you are going to get that richness of color going onto your paper, and you'll notice the difference when you are coloring. Just the experience is actually better and you will get more on. The most important thing about Bible paper is that it's quite delicate. So if I use something that I'm going to have to push harder in order to get color on, I'm actually going to dent through my paper, and that is going to be harder on my paper, especially when it's so thin. Whereas this Prismacolor Premier is softer core, but it's going to give me a richer color much easier, and I barely touched on it. Whereas this one, when I touch really thin like that, I'm barely getting any color down. So you really want to consider getting a small core group of colors that you can afford rather than getting yourself a big bunch of colors in something that's very cheap. Spend a little bit and get a smaller group of colors in something of better quality. My opinion is that Prismacolor Premier is the best option. Now, Prismacolor wax-based pencils come in two different sets. There's the Prismacolor Premier and there's the Prismacolor Verithin. The difference here is that the Prismacolor Premier is a soft core and it has a round, just imagine it's very, soft. As you roll it across here, it just keeps rolling. If you were to grab this Prismacolor Verithin magenta and try and roll it, it won't roll, it sticks because it's got these angled sides to it. This Verithin has a sharper point to it, and as you can tell, when I go in, I get that same ability to get that good load of pigment, but I get a really sharp edge because this will sharpen to a really nice point. So if you feel like you want to fill in a space with really nice rich color and you don't need those points, then you can just use the Prismacolor Premier. If you want some really fine detail, then you can use these Verithin ones that kind of go with the colors. There's a smaller group of them. There's 36 of them here. And that's the largest set. So I just got the largest set of them. And then anytime I need to kind of outline something, I can outline with this, with the edge. And then I can go in with the soft core to fill in. And then I've not gotten right up to that edge and caused myself any kind of rough edge. I've got that really sharp point that I was looking for. So that's how you can use the Verithin and the Premier together. When you hold it like this with the top up like this, it pops open for you to empty your shavings. And what you've got is two here. So you can put this in, and this will remove some of the wooden casing around the actual outside. It's not even touching this point, it's just doing the wood. Then when I'm done with that, I put it in here and it will sharpen off my edge at the very end, and then I end up with a sharper point at the end. So wood off first, then the point. And that's how you use this. This is called a Combe. I have this linked below inside of my Bible journaling supplies guide, and I think it is my favorite one to use with the Prismacolor pencils. It seems to do the best at not breaking pencils. Prismacolor have their own one here, and it has that kind of concept here, and you do the same thing. There's two sides to this in order to get the sharpness that you're after. Either one will work, Prismacolor or Combe, but I find Combe is better personally. There is something called a Colorless Blender that Prismacolor sells. It doesn't come in the sets, you've got to buy it separately. And this is completely separate. So if I take this and I take this thing here and I run the Colorless Blender over the top of it, you'll notice that it actually blends the color in nice and beautifully. And if this was on a flat Bible page, it would be even better. But as you can see, this is a really easy way to blend your color. Some people will use mineral spirits and all sorts of things like that in their Bible. I would not recommend that you use that, because that is, again, that's like a product that we're not really sure how that's going to react with your Bible page over time. So use something different. Use a colorless blender. It's just more wax that is colorless, that gives you a chance to push your color around and get that kind of rich color that you're after. So this is another thing which, if you've got any problems with the smell of stuff, you don't have to use any kind of painterly stuff, any fancy tools. You just need another pencil that's a colorless blender. So you're looking for the Prismacolor colorless blender, and that will give you a world of opportunity here. And interestingly, you can then decide that you want to, say, maybe add just a little bit of extra color. Say here, say maybe I want to add a little bit of red to this to make it a little bit more color. So I can add some of that in here, and then I can take this colorless blender and I can actually put all of these together, and it blends it so that there is a sense of variegation that happens. It's like an ombre effect that happens, and this colorless blender will have you pulling all of those colors together seamlessly when you just lay the color down next to each other and then use the colorless blender to kind of go back and forth between them. So what you need is some colored pencil. You need a sharpener to sharpen things effectively, and you need a colorless blender to blend in your color once you've put it where you want it. The only thing left to do is to figure out how to put it into your Bible and not dent your Bible pages. You might know what I'm talking about. So I have a little secret here that I can't even send you a link to, because it's just one of those life hacks that you're going to find sitting around your house. So what you want to do is, say you open up your Bible and you're going to color on this page right here. What you want to do is you pick this up and insert this right here. And now you've got yourself a little workspace that is not going to hurt the pages behind, and you can color right here with nothing happening. So what this is actually just some card left over from the back of a workbook, a sketchbook that I found laying around the house, just an old sketchbook, anything like that. This is basically chipboard, and I just cut it down with an X-Acto knife to be the size of my Bible. And what it does is it just sticks out just a little bit beyond all of this, and I find that it helps for it to be a little bit further here, because when I put it here and I work on this, it gives my hand a place to rest beyond the Bible, and it means that I can put my hand here and I have like a whole little mini table that's the size of my actual page. So it's a really handy tool that I wouldn't go without, and it's free if you pull it off the back of one of your sketchbooks or watercolors books, mixed media book, anything like that that has that chipboard. And what's important about this is that it has a little bit of give. So as you run across your Bible paper on this, this just lets a little bit of give happen so you can get that rich color application that you're looking for. So now that you know what you need, how it's different, how to use it in your Bible, I think you are ready to use colored pencil in your Bible more effectively. If for any reason you really enjoy yourself and you get so into it that you actually start to find that some of your colored pencils get a little short, it's okay. You can buy something called a pencil extender. I won't link to this. Just search for pencil extender on Amazon. You'll find lots of them around. And all you do is there's this little sleeve right here. You just put it all the way to the bottom. And you just slide this right on top and up. And now you have a pencil that is much longer to use and will be able to mean that you can use this all the way to the very, very end of your colored pencil and get the most out of that color. So this will save you a lot of money because it's very hard to use colored pencil when you're just dealing with a little edge, but you use a pencil extender to get the most out of your color. So this is a really good rounded look at what you have available when it comes to colored pencil. I would just like to, in closing, show you through my colors here. You can see what the very thin colors are right there. But here I have actually marked in my pencil case here. But what I did is I picked the size of case. I just searched for pencil case with the number of pencils that I had and came up with the one that I was after. And I just want to show you here that I've actually marked my pencils. So if you ever see my pencils in future videos, you'll notice that if it has a pink band on it, then it's part of the 12 set that Prismacolor offer. If it has a green band, green tape on it, then it is part of the 24 set, and that's the one that I recommend that you start with if you're buying a Prismacolor set. It gives you the most variety, and you'll see that in a moment. This yellow color, that's the 48 set. I would recommend if you get to the 48 set and you're really getting some use out of it, that probably it's time to go ahead and invest in the full set because you know that you'll get use from it. But start with the 24 set, make sure that you're going to get lots of use out of it, graduate to a 48 set, and if you're really satisfied, then get the full set like I have. So get yourself a sharpener, get yourself a colorless blender, and then decide what you want in terms of your set. So here you can see pink is 12, 24 set is green, and yellow is 48. So let's have a look here. You can see a few more in that 12 set and a few more in the green set. And then here again, there's a few in this green set and pink set, but there's loads in the yellow set. And again, there's the pink set there, a few more in this green set and a pink one here. And that is it. This set you see here is the full 150 colors that they offer. I hope that you will pop into the video comments and tell me what you think about Prismacolor colored pencils or colored pencil in general. I want to hear your comments below. That helps YouTube know whether or not to share this video. So hit that like button if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. And be sure and just hang out in the comments, get below the video where it says see more and look at that link there. That will take you over to be able to shop for any of the stuff that I've talked about, and that's really handy for you because it makes it easy for you to find those things, and those links will support this ministry so that I can keep on bringing you great free content. I will see you again soon. Bye.